So I'm going to try to describe the steering mechanism on my kayak here. It's a Cabela's 12-foot kayak, and the problem with attaching a motor to this kayak is that the seat is halfway up and you can't really use the steering mechanism that comes with these motors. So what I did, I looked on the internet and I saw where some people actually take the Minnkota or whatever motor you've got. I had a Minnkota C2. It's a 55 pound thrust motor, and I cut the top of it off. I know that sounds kind of weird. I was scared to do it myself, but I ran all the wires into this junction box here, the speed control and everything, and then I ran a connection down to this quick disconnect right here, so I can just take it apart and take the motor off whenever I want to. And then this comes down along the channel here, and I feed it underneath the seat up to this junction box here. I need to kind of plug that back in, but that's just protection. And I connect it to this control box here. I have power to the box. You turn that off, and there's no power. I turn that on. I've got a voltmeter, and right now it's reading 12.5 volts. And I'm testing this for demonstration purposes with just an on-the-road emergency 12-volt battery jump kit thingy. What is it? Battery extender, whatever that thing is. And it's showing like 13 volts. And so what I do is now, when I'm sitting in the seat, and by the way, this is a very comfortable seat, I can control the speed of the motor with this knob here. It's got let me show you this. It's off right now. And you notice the motor is dead and it's not turning. It stopped. It's got a 1 speed. You can see the motor is going. Turn it up to the 2nd speed, and it goes a little bit faster. And now I've got it up to the 3rd speed, and it's faster still. 4th speed is even faster, and then 5th speed is faster still. Now keep in mind, this is not an outboard motor with 800,000 pounds of thrust. This is just a simple trolling motor to get your kayak to and from your place where you want to go. And then I'll turn it off, and it has and you see it's off again. And then I have a reverse, another reverse speed, and finally the final reverse speed. And the controller for this that I put inside this box here was the same controller that came out of the motor head, the Minnkota motor head. So that's how the motor itself works. Now here's the other problem. I got 2 more problems I'm going to deal with. I have this thing on a swivel. You see this gadget here. It's all. You can't steer something like this from sitting in this seat. The motor is too far back. You would need a boom, 4 or 5 feet long, and then you'd never be able to control the turning of it. So I just used some 1/2-inch PVC pipe, ran an extension. I have a little stabilizer holder thingy here, And if you can see what I'm doing is when let me back up a little bit. When I pull and push and pull this rod back and forth, you can see how it turns the motor. And I'm sitting in the seat and I'm just steering left and right. Now, is it a steering wheel? No. But it's perfectly functional. I've used this lots and lots of times. As a matter of fact, you can turn it so sharp you almost flip the kayak. So the idea is you need gentle motions to turn it. And it works out very good. Okay. In order to mount this thing, I took my kayak and attached a platform to it and added a 2x4 mounting bracket that I bolted all the way through here, and I'll show you underneath. You see that's bolted in, and then I have a bolt that goes through this hole here. I don't remember what the hole was for in the original design, and then I have another bolt. So this mount bracket and this mounting part right here, it will never come loose. Not with what we're using this motor for. And then I just unscrew the mount screws here, and I can disconnect this and just completely take the motor off and store it for the winter if I want to do that. The attachment is I took I don't know if this is 5/16 threaded rod here, and I just bent it and ran it through this thing with a couple of nylon washers, so it gives when I pull and pull it gives this turning motion. Steers perfect. And then I mounted it to the shaft with you can go down. This is called a pipe hanger. It's 2-part pipe hanger with a tapped thread right here. So I threaded this into the tap and then screwed it together, clamped. It's a clamp, and it holds perfectly fine. So that's how that turns, and that's how the mechanism works. Now, the other problem I have, keep in mind that if you're coming up on shallow water or going through rocks or something, you don't want this motor hanging down below the kayak itself. So I got online again and looked at what people were doing, and I drilled a hole and put a clip here, the snap ring type thing, and attached a cable, put a pulley, screwed it in here, whoops, right there, and then ran another cable up to, I think this is for rock climbing. I don't do rock climbing, but this is for rock climbing. It gives me enough pulley strength to actually raise the motor. And I'll show you. And it's built into a locking carabiner that you can buy over at Home Depot. So when I'm sitting in here and I'm coming up on some rocks or something, I'll just grab this and see if I can do it without pulling the boat off the sawhorses here. But you simply pull it, and you notice that the boat raises. And when it's raised up, it locks into the carabiner here. Oh, the first thing you want to do, of course, is turn it so that the nose is not going to hit on the bottom end of the kayak. So let's see if I can pull it up all the way. And there you go. Just give a good pull, and now you see the motor is raised up really high, and it's actually out of the way of the rocks that you're going over, because your kayak will hit better. The kayak itself will hit the rocks before this motor does. So that's how I've set up this trolling motor to be a motor to putz around the lake in the kayak, and I can steer it, and I can lift it up when it comes time to come back into the shore, or if I'm going over rocks or something like that, I can lift the motor completely up and out of the way. So that's pretty much how this thing works. Once again, I use the Minnkota 55 horse motor. I cut the head off, took the guts out of the motor housing. I ran the wires through this conduit into a plug, it's a quick disconnect plug. Ran it up to my switch, which is right here at the feet of my seat. I've got an on-off switch. I've got a voltage meter, and I've got a 5-way switch here and a 3-way switch for reverse. And I can sit in the seat. I can putz around the lake. I can steer it. I can lift it up if I have to, and I don't have to drill a whole bunch of holes and run the steering through the foot pedals like a lot of folks do that. I chose not to. So that's how that works, and I think I'm going to go ahead and sign off for now. Thanks.